Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to The Voice of the Times, this Saturday, July 10, 2021. For today's editorial, renewable energy transition a looming economic opportunity. One of the more common arguments raised against the use of renewable energy, or RE, by its rapidly dwindling number of stubborn critics is that transitioning from dirty sources of energy to sustainable RE is costly. RE has long been mischaracterized as a luxury option by these critics, one that is too expensive for a country such as the Philippines, which should, they assert, simply be satisfied with being dependent on economically volatile imported fossil fuels. Like most arguments raised by these enemies of progress and national well-being, the argument that RE is too costly has some basis in fact. It has only been within the past 4 to 5 years that the steady development of RE technology has achieved a level of reliability and cost-effectiveness that puts it on par economically with conventional sources of energy. With that point having been reached and passed, however, it is foolish to continue to argue that RE requires some level of economic sacrifice. On the contrary, it now appears to represent an economic opportunity that the Philippines cannot afford to ignore, especially as the country struggles to recover from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Late last month, the International Renewable Energy Agency, or IRENA, released its annual World Energy Transitions Outlook, which is an analysis of the economic requirements and impact of pursuing a goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2050. Compared with current plans over the next decade, the 1.5 degree pathway would contribute 2.4% higher growth of the global economy and create 122 million energy-related jobs by 2050, more than tripling the 58 million current energy-related jobs. About 43% of those new jobs, IRENA explained, would be direct RE jobs, with the rest being in related industries and other areas of the economy. In order to achieve this growth, an average annual global investment of about $4.4 trillion will be needed over the next decade. That sounds like a big number, but as the IRENA Outlook points out, it is entirely within reach. It only amounts to about 5% of global gross domestic product, or GDP, in 2019. For comparison, various sources peg the world's total energy spending in 2019 at between 10% and 11.4%. It is important to note that the spending toward the 1.5 degree goal is not a cost, but an investment. Taking into consideration the jobs created, the increase in economic activity related to manufacturing, building and operating RE systems, and energy cost savings for consumers, every dollar spent on RE development returns about $2 to the economy. If other externalities such as reduced public health costs and reductions in climate change mitigation costs are factored in, although these are admittedly less certain, the return on RE investment is estimated to be $5.50 for every dollar spent over the next 30 years. About forward-looking policies, achieving these gains will not come automatically, of course. Forward-looking policies are needed to accelerate the RE transition and mitigate regulatory risks and uncertainties. On the private sector side of the equation, the transition can be accelerated and the benefits maximized by reorienting investments and adjusting capital flows. Public financing will still be important and is projected to increase from $450 billion in 2019 to about $780 billion by 2050. However, private sector participation is vital. This can be encouraged by positive incentives and enabling policies on the one hand, and by negative incentives such as eliminating fossil fuel subsidies on the other. Over the past several weeks and months, details that have been shared by various government agencies and lawmakers about the Philippines' overall policy perspective on RE development, as well as increasing RE investment by some of the country's major players in the energy sector, give us hope that the country is headed in the right direction. We hope that the momentum continues to build and will not be allowed to be derailed by specious arguments from critics whose motives are questionable and whose perspectives are not those that have the best interest of the country in mind. And that's the editorial for Saturday, July 10, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to our digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and listen to The Voice of the Times.